Good morning, everybody. Welcome to the first meeting of the Lyon County Board of County Commissioners for Monday, January 6, 2025. It is 9 o'clock. Today's agenda action will be taken on all items unless otherwise noted. No action will be taken on any item until it's properly agendized. To avoid meeting disruptions, please place cell phones and beepers in silent mode or turn them off during the meeting. The board reserves the right to take items in a different order to accomplish business in the most efficient manner. Items may be combined for consideration. Items may be pulled or removed from the agenda at any time. Restrictions on comments by the general public. Any such restrictions must be reasonable and may restrict the time, place, and manner of the comments, but may not restrict comments based upon viewpoint. Board of Commissioners convening with other boards. Members of the Board of County Commissioners also serve as the Liquor Board, Central Lyon Vector Control District Board, Mason Valley Mosquito Abatement District Board, Walker River Weed Control District Board, Willow Creek General Improvement District Board, the Silver Springs General Improvement District Board, and during this meeting may convene as any of those boards as indicated on this or a separately posted agenda. Between 11:30 for lunch. Today we have roll call. All commissioners are in chambers. And our invocation will be given by John Poindstone of Joy Church. Please rise.
Good morning, everyone. Heavenly Father, we come before you because you've granted us the awesome privilege of being able to do so. Your scripture commands us and directs us to contend for and honor our county officials. And so we first open up with an atmosphere of honor. This date is a very, very important date, both in the history of our nation, January 6th, and in your worldwide church, and it's being the first Tuesday of the new year nationally, statewide, and in our county. This is a date of transition when we kick off a new year with new challenges and new opportunities for dissension and disunity. May Lyon County become known for that county that honors loyalty and honor and unity above agreement. Lord, may your wisdom prevail today and every day throughout our county commission proceedings and that of our elected officials. I thank you for our new slate of officers. I thank you for this new year. May your wisdom, your truth, your justice, your mercy, your grace, and your peace be made manifest in our hearts today and every day. Thank you. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Thank you. Commissioner Casanova, would you lead us in the pledge first?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. That sounded outstanding with a full house. Item 4, public participation. Action will be taken on until it's properly agendized. It's anticipated the public participation will be held at this time, and though it may be returned to a time during the agenda. Citizens wishing to speak during public participation are asked to state their name for the record and will be limited to 3 minutes. The board will conduct public comment after discussion of each agenda action item, but before the board takes any action. We'll have any public participation today. Yes, sir.
My name is Fred Schroeder. I'm a Lyon County citizen and a retired prison associate warden who has personally witnessed the devastation and impact on lives for which I come before you today. I bid you good morning. Congratulations to the new board members, and I thank all of you for your dedication and service to Lyon County. I previously spoke to you about protecting children from being exposed to sexually explicit material at our public libraries. As county commissioners, I'm sure this is a concern to you as well. That is the primary issue I address to you today, protecting our children. Today, I bring you the signatures of 313 other residents who share this concern about protecting children from this material. We have signed this letter to show support to you for making this issue a priority and ensuring that our community maintains libraries that are wholesome and family friendly. You have our support. At the last meeting, some members of the public expressed concerns about freedom of speech, and they have opposed having any criteria that would limit what books our libraries purchase and distribute. I also respect the First Amendment, but nothing in it compels any level of government to purchase and distribute pornography to children. The government already restricts children from purchasing alcohol, firearms and ammunition, and participation in gambling, among many other things, to protect our children. I think the public and perhaps you are simply not aware of the kind of books that are recently being published and targeted to children, and how vulgar, obscene, graphic, and sexually explicit they are. The public is also not aware that these books are placed on library shelves with no identification or warning labels for parents, and they are also available for children to download electronically to their devices without any parental knowledge or consent. Rather than read you excerpts, I have put together a packet for each of you with samples from some of the books that are currently available to children in Lyon County libraries. You can look at them and decide for yourself if you think this material is appropriate for children. I warn you that you will see is extremely disturbing, especially knowing it's being given to children. If you are as horrified as I am, I hope it will motivate you to take action. Also included in the packet are suggestions about what you can do as commissioners to address this problem. There are samples from other counties that have successfully passed resolutions and written policies to protect children from harmful, sexually explicit material. There is contact information of organizations and people with legal expertise who are willing to help you. Finally, as commissioners, you have the authority to appoint library trustees who will uphold the values of this community. There is currently an open position. I understand several people have applied. I hope you will appoint a trustee who is willing to take a stand and do the work necessary to protect children in our libraries. I'm going to hand over comments to be included in the minutes. And I have a packet.
Okay, thank you, sir. Your time is up.
And the district attorney and county manager.
Okay,
I do not take my. I'll tell you what, I'll take these and I we'll make sure that it gets put open. Okay. Okay.
okay. I'm going to get Judge Sheldon-Melsh to come up and do the swearing in since he has a very tight schedule today. And then we'll continue with public comment right after that. Thank you. So let me continue with the right after item 4, we'll go to possible action review and adoption of agenda and get that done, and then we'll go into uncertain. I hate to do that for public comment, but we do need to get the judge back here. So item 5 for possible action review and adoption of the agenda. Any commissioner input on the agenda? Any public comment? Any public input? If not, I'd like a motion on
Chair Huckabee, I'll make a motion that we approve the agenda.
second. Okay, so I have a motion by Commissioner Jacobson, and second by Commissioner Keller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes 5-0.
Okay.
Okay, we're going to go on with item 6A, time certain line for possible action swearing in of elected officials. So I guess we'll have all the elected officials that have to be sworn in today, please come forward.
Congratulations to all of you on your election victories. Sure. Usually, everybody can hear me.
So if you please raise your right hand. I, please state your name,
I, Leon Rodriguez,
do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support, protect, and defend
that I will support and protect and defend
the Constitution and government
the Constitution and government
of the United States
of the United States
and the Constitution and government
and the Constitution and government
of the state of Nevada
of the state of Nevada
against all enemies,
against all enemies,
whether domestic or foreign,
whether domestic or foreign.
and that I will bear true faith,
And I will bear true faith,
allegiance, and loyalty
allegiance and loyalty
to the same.
to the same.
Any ordinance,
Any ordinance,
resolution, or law
resolution, or law
of any state notwithstanding,
of any state notwithstanding,
and that I will well and faithfully
and will well and faithfully
perform all the duties
perform all the duties
of the office of, please state your office,
of the office of justice of the peace,
on which I am about to enter.
on which you are about to
So help me God.
so help me God.
Congratulations.
For everybody that was sworn in, and appreciate your opportunity to jump into the fray. One minor correction here, I'm supposed to say 5-0 on votes, it was actually 4-0 because Commissioner Castanelli was not sworn in yet. But anyway, the agenda did pass. Thank you for letting us interrupt the agenda for a moment. At this point, we will go back to public comment. So if you want to step up, sir.
Good morning. My name is Jim Davis, and I'd like to congratulate Commissioners at Hendricks and Casanelli on their recent elections and thank each of you for your dedicated service to Lyon County. Apparently, there was maybe also an election for Mr. Jacobson. I hadn't noticed. I'd like to speak on the subject of child exploitation, grooming, and how our library system is being abused in support of those groomers. Child exploitation is increasing, and each year there are hundreds and thousands of cases. According to the Lawsuit Information Center, 1 out of every 5 girls under 18 will be the victim of sexual abuse. This abuse is typically not impulsive or committed by a stranger, but by someone the child knows and has gained their confidence. Those groomers typically spend months to years preparing a child for sexual advances. According to the National Children's Alliance, grooming behaviors commonly include showing a child pornographic magazines, images, or videos. In more and more cases, the groomer gets assistance when a child views or reads sexually explicit materials on their own. If a culture makes it normal for children to see and read sexually explicit material, the groomer gets a free pass to move on to the next step toward exploiting the child. These books are part of a movement today in culture to normalize sexual activity with children. Some say that babies are sexual beings, and that it's perfectly normal to encourage preschoolers to engage in sexual activity. There is even a movement to undemonize pedophiles and to eliminate that term from our language. Instead, they would have us call them minor attracted persons. Rightfully, Nevada state law prohibits distributing sexually explicit materials to minors in NRS 201.265. That statute is included in the written materials I have for you as well. However, there are exemptions for government schools, museums, and libraries. The impetus for exemptions being that we wouldn't want to prosecute people for teaching biology or displaying Roman sculpture. However, just because there are exemptions from criminal prosecution does not mean our libraries should willfully participate in the distribution of these materials, being in effect groomers' aids and creating institutionalized grooming. Under the guise of diversity and inclusion, there are those, including the American Library Association, that think our children should not only have access to these materials, but be able to read them behind their parents' backs. I think putting these materials into our children's hands and heads is child abuse. To be very clear, I'm not talking about Tom Sawyer or a Roman statue. I've narrowly focused on a new genre of sexually explicit and graphic materials targeted specifically to minors. In past years, actions to protect children from these would not have been needed because no publisher would create such materials. Sadly, that's not the case today. I urge our fine commissioners to research the subject and to take action to protect our children from
Thank you,
sexual
sir.
exploitation. I have copies of those comments for the commissioners.
My name is Lori Duncan, and I would like my comments included in the minutes. I am active in the Lyon County Republican Central Committee, and I want to congratulate the newly elected board members and thank all of you for your hard work you do for our county. I love living in a small community with conservative values. I appreciate having commissioners representing us that share these values, and I know you work hard to make this a good place to live. I am here today because I am concerned about what is happening in our public libraries. I don't want Lyon County to experience the same problems they are having nearby in Washoe County. The citizens in Washoe have gotten so fed up with what's happening at their libraries that in the last election, they voted overwhelmingly to defeat their ballot measure that would have funded their libraries for the next 30 years. Their commissioners are scrambling to find funding in their general budget or face cutting staff and closing libraries. The library trustees in Washoe allowed the libraries to turn into venues for drag queen story hours where they danced along with the library staff in perversions with young children, celebrating Pride Days all year round and promoting sexually explicit books. Meanwhile, the homeless population has essentially taken over the downtown library in Reno because the library staff allows them to watch pornography all day on the internet alongside children. They sleep in the libraries, bathe in the restrooms, and have made the library unsafe for families. I hope you are thinking that will never happen here. I hope you are right. Let's learn a lesson from our neighbors and make sure we get ahead of this by putting the right trustees and policies in place to prevent it. We are counting on you to make sure our libraries stay safe and clean and are a place where parents can bring their kids and grandkids knowing they will not be exposed to the kind of things that are going on in Washoe. Congratulations again, and thank you for serving. Lori Duncan. Sorry.
Just gonna start my name.
Okay. Okay, I see a hand on Zoom and I don't see anybody else lined up here to talk. So we will move to Zoom. I have a telephone. Please state your name for the record.
Hi,
Okay.
this is Joni Hammond. Good morning, Chair and Commissioners. Please add an agenda item at the next County Commission meeting to fill the vacant library trustee seat. This needs to be filled by a person that will protect children from sexually explicit materials and is willing to keep the libraries a wholesome, safe place for children and families. I'm not interested in banning books. I find it fascinating that this conversation, folks tend to say, oh, you just want to ban books. I'm not interested in banning books. I'm interested in having policies in place to protect the children. I don't think 6, 7, 8-year-olds need to look at and absorb sexually explicit books. Please have the library board instruct the librarians to purchase books that will not endanger our children. Do not use our tax dollars to buy sexually explicit books and materials for children, which is dangerous to their health and development. We need library trustees who will do their job to actively oversee the library staff and hold them accountable. Thank you.
I see a phone number ending in 9891. Was that you, Ms. Hammond?
Yeah.
Okay, that's what I thought. The green light was on there and you were talking on the picture, so we kind of figured that one out. I don't see anybody else on Zoom. So thank you for your comments, and we'll move on to our next item. Item 6B, time certain, 9 a.m. For possible action, elect the Board of County Commissioners Chair and to fix the term of office for the chair as required by NRS 244.070. At this
Chair?
point,
I'd like to nominate Scott Keller. He works as hard or harder than any of us, and more importantly, he's trying to move up in leadership in NACO at the national and state level, and I think being chair will help facilitate that and give our county a larger voice.
Okay, so I have a nomination of Scott Keller. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, and
I'll second.
okay. All right. So nomination by Commissioner Hendricks and a second by Commissioner Keller. And I will ask for a vote on that then. All those in favor say aye.
Excuse me, Mr. Chair, you got to do public comment.
Oh, okay. Yep, it is an action item for public comment. And Commissioner comment first. Other than that, public comment. Oh.
My name is Gary, and I'm a resident in Dayton, and I would have known Scott Keller for many, many years. And Scott, I just want to thank you for the service that you've had to this community. And I believe that I speak for more than just myself in saying that from a community standpoint, we are absolutely behind the appointment of you in the chairman position. Thank you.
Thank you. Any other public input? If not, then I will call for a vote. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Three. Aye. Okay. Opposed? Nay. Nay. Okay. So Scott Keller, you are now the chair. 3-2.
Thank you. I'm gonna go ahead and go to 6C, time certain before we move chairs. Get the second one out of off the agenda. I'm certainly for possible action, elect the Board of County Commissioners Vice Chair and to fix the term of office for the Vice Chair as required by NRS 244.070. And I would like to nominate Tammy Hendricks as my Vice Chair. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Do you have any other nominations? Any public comment? Seeing none, we'll go to the vote. Those in favor say aye. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Those against say nay. Motion passes 5-0. We're going to take a 5-minute recess so we can realign the chairs. We'll be back. Back to connection back to order. Brings us to number 7, presentation of awards and recognitions of accomplishment. Do we have any? Seeing none, Moving on to Commissioner County Manager reports. Start on the far right with Commissioner Huckabee.
Had quite a few fundraisers that I was invited to, so that they could get some more funds from me. Also had a meeting on Friday, kind of a court status meeting on the case going in the county here. Other than that, it's been a pretty interesting vacation time for a couple of weeks, and I'm glad most everybody had a chance to get time off and be with their families and enjoy the Christmas and the New Year. So that's about all I have for this time of the year.
Thank you, Commissioner Casanelli.
Yeah, thank you, Chair. I just wanted to thank my fellow commissioners and everyone that came in to see it swearing in this morning, and also say thank you to my predecessor, Commissioner Henderson, and thank him for his service on this board, and looking forward to working with everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Hendricks.
Yeah, I attended the open house for the Comfort House in Silver Springs, and that's a really amazing project they're doing there, providing a place to live for up to 8 kids so that they don't have to be displaced. If they're removed from their home, they can still attend their own school and be with their own friends. Also attended the Dayton Valley Conservation District meeting and the Stagecoach Advisory Board meeting.
Thank you, Commissioner Jacobson.
Thank you, Chair. I just want to welcome Commissioner Casanelli. Appreciate him putting in and running. Also like to thank Commissioner Henderson for his service. Congratulate the other newly elected officials. And my nay vote, Commissioner Keller, was not necessarily against you. It was, I really appreciated Commissioner Hockabay's conservative focused manner in which he conducted our meetings, and we seem to really have a focus on county business and not so much monkey business. And I would hope under your leadership that we will continue with that focus and do what we need to do for the public in a very conservative and focused manner. And I want to wish everybody a very happy New Year.
Thank you. And I hope I can gain respect on that matter and do it professionally. Also, let everyone that on this board know that I turn back and forth to see if you're asking or want to speak. So please interrupt me if you have to, do whatever you have to. I don't want to stifle your comments, and I'm not trying to. So please step forward. I've attended just mostly Christmas stuff over the last few weeks, and so I don't have anything to report, but I do thank all the elected officials that stepped up for the job, and they'll find out how much they enjoy it. We'll move on to County Manager.
Good morning, Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager for the record. I took some time off for the holidays, so I don't have a whole lot to report, but I did want to let the board know and the public know that we will be having an item to discuss the library board and this board's role with that at the next meeting. So we had planned on scheduling that for the 16th, and so that will be on there. Other than that, don't really have anything else. Happy New Year and congratulations to all the newly elected officials. Thank you.
Thank you. We move on to our number 9, elected officials reports. Do we have any elected officials that'd like to give a report?
Good morning, Lyon County Sheriff Brad Pope for the record. First want to congratulate elected officials, Commissioner Jacobson, Commissioner Hendricks, Commissioner Casanelli. Congratulations on being the chair. And Dave, just want to say you did a great job as the chair of the commission for 2 years, and proud of you. Did good work. As far as the report goes, very short report. As of today, we became fully staffed at the Lyon County Sheriff's Office. First time in a long time. Been fully staffed, so we were a little late. We had to swear in 1 deputy, and we have 2 more coming. All of them are category 1, 2, or 3 certified. The category 2 guy that looking at hiring will have to go through a full academy, but fully staffed, no open positions. So that's a positive thing. Next meeting will be presenting our yearly report from 2024. The numbers look really good. I'm excited to present that. And, looking forward to that. So other than that, it's business as usual at the sheriff's office. Sending 7 to the academy here this month. Once we get those guys trained and sworn or trained in through FTO. Each one of our patrol areas will be nearly fully manned with category 1 officers. So we're excited for that to happen, and just want to thank your guys' help. I know contract negotiations are tough. You guys played a big part of that. That's a big reason why we were able to fill up and create a hiring list. Now have 13 people on a hiring list, so something that the sheriff's office has not seen in a long time, and want to give you guys credit for that as well. Helping out with the raises really increased our applications, and the amount of qualified people that we had apply. So thank you. Next meeting, I'll talk a lot longer with the yearly report, but just want to thank you and congratulations to all the elected officials as well.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair Keller. I just want to take my hat off to you and your servicemen and women for handling the situation in Fernley and successfully run off that manhunt and keeping the public safe. I know that it created quite a backlog of traffic, and but when no one else was hurt and everyone came out of that safe, obviously, except for the person's mom and dad. It was well done. You kept school safe. Your crew was, I don't know how many we had, but there was people everywhere, and I had a bunch of buddies that live over in that neighborhood, and they were all pretty well armed and ready in case it had come in. So it was probably lucky he didn't show up at any of my buddies' house. So I'm not trying to make light of the situation. But I do think that enters people's mind when they're thinking of going around and maybe causing harm to others. So again, my hat's off to you and well done.
Actually, met several of your armed buddies driving around looking for the suspect. Very polite and very ready to go if they had to.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman Keller. Just wanted to compliment the UL staff. Place was clean, kitchen looked great, everything was in order. Sergeant did a fantastic job running me through the inspection, which of course I do quarterly. And I appreciate that. On the other side of the issue, we've talked about the interstate called Wellington cutoff. Seems as though there's some truck drivers out there doing about 65 in the 35 and 25 zone. Might want to think about going back out there again and spotting some of the traffic that's flying by, because I make a left turn out of that place a lot. Everybody else does too, heading into Wellington. So it might be a good idea to check that out from time to time. I'd appreciate it. So that's about all. And you guys are doing a great job. Appreciate it.
Get them out there.
Thank you. I just wanted to echo Commissioner Jacobson and great job in Fernley, and also the presence of deputies around Dayton area has definitely been seen, the increase, and I know you guys are doing a good job, and Dayton Valley Road especially. So thank you.
Thank you.
Officials reports. Seeing none, we move on to appointed officials reports. Okay, seeing none, we move on to advisory board report.
Yeah, one.
Oh,
One for trouble.
Sorry, the sheriff distracted me on football. So, Josh Foley, Lyon County Comptroller, for the record. Congratulations on being in the playoffs. My wife's like, "You're rooting for the Vikings?" I'm like, "Yes." Just wanted to let the board know that Tentatively, we have the budget hearing in front of the Board of County Commissioners scheduled for April 2nd, which is a Wednesday. If that doesn't work for you, please let me know. We'll figure out what day does work for you, but that's traditionally what we've tried to do most years is put it the day before your regular meeting, first meeting. So
What was
unless
it?
it's
What was the date again?
April 2nd, it's a Wednesday. So please let me know if you want me to move that around on the calendar, but that's where I'd like you to consider it to start with.
If you could send out the tentative date on the email, then we'll have it so we can always refresh ourselves.
I will do that as well. I've heard that some commissioners don't like reading their emails as often as others, so I wanted to also give it to you here.
Thank you.
That's all I have. for you.
Mr. Jacobson.
April 2nd is much better than April 1st, so good job.
Thank you.
Any more appointed officials? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to the advisory board reports. I don't see anybody in the chambers. Mandy Bernan is online. Go ahead.
Good morning. The Stagecoach Advisory Board held their meeting on January 2nd due to the holiday on the 1st. And we did elect a chair, vice chair, and secretary. We will be submitting a letter of transmittal for that. We also now have a functioning reader board in front of the Stagecoach Community Center. And it lights up in the evening, goes off in the morning, and is now populated. And we would like to thank, first of all, resident Mike Klein for making a suggestion to make this an agenda item, and Commissioner Hendricks for moving it forward for us. We'd also like to thank Doug Homestead and Judge Smith for actually getting it done. So we now have a reader board. Once we got that up and working, we noticed that the area looked a little shabby around there. So on our agenda, we had for possible action for a Stagecoach Community Center cleanup day, which we did approve. So we will be trying to get residents to clean up the weeds, paint some of the wood there, stain the wood around the flagpole. And that will be on March 8th. And then we do have a backup day of March 15th at 10 a.m. And County Manager Haskin has provided us some guidelines for doing this community cleanup day. And then we also made a recommendation of denial for a request by Crosby Nevada Land LLC of an ordinance to amend Lyon County Title 15 property related thereto, PLZ 2024-053. And that was to change some wording on Chapter 211, the specific plan. And I personally would like to congratulate Commissioner Hendricks, Jacobson, and Casanelli on their appointments. Thank you.
Thank you. Seeing none, we're going to move on to the consent agenda. Action will be taken on all items. All matters listed under the consent agenda are considered routine and may be acted upon by the Board of Commissioners with one action and without an extensive hearing. Any member of the board or any citizen may request that an item be taken from the consent agenda, discussed and acted upon separately during this meeting. Is anyone on the board for review? Commissioner Jacobson.
Yeah, thank you, Chair Keller. Can we pull 12A?
Is anyone else on the board? County Manager, anything? Members of the public?
Seeing that, Chair Keller, I'll make a motion to approve the consent agenda 12A through 12H as presented, with pulling 12I for just a brief question.
Second.
It's moved by Commissioner Jacobson, seconded by Commissioner Hockaday. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Passes 5-0. 12I for possible action, approve in the Nevada Association of Counties 2025 membership dues in the amount of $53,548 with the unbudgeted amount of $14,300 to be funded from a budget transfer from the general fund contingency.
Thank you, Chair Keller. So I guess, I mean, I went through it in the packet, obviously, but, just for a talking point for the public, I was curious, if we could discuss, do we just not budget, the 14,300? Or is that an increase in dues? I do appreciate all that NACO does for us and I support NACO. This is not I'm not questioning that. I just want to be clear and transparent on that 14,300.
Perfect. Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager for the record. So no, this is actually an increase in dues. This year, the NACO board voted to essentially create a position that a position that was grant funded. They've changed it around a bit. They're creating a new position there as the grant funding expired. And so to pay for that, they voted to have an increase in the due. So that's what this is for. We budgeted for the previous amount because the previous amount was based on a formula based on PIL. And so this is
so does Lyon County pay the same 14,300 increase as Clark County, Washoe County? Is it prorated for population? How does that?
So it is not the same across the counties. It's based on population, I believe, and there was one other factor, and I apologize, I don't remember what it was, but Chairman Keller might.
It's not coming to my mind right now, but could you expand on Amy Hyde Sutherland's position? That's what it actually changed.
Right, yeah, so previously Amy Hyde Sutherland was she was, I forget what her title was there previously, but it was dealing with healthcare and healthcare related stuff. Now it's going to be transitioning to human services, so she'll be supporting human services throughout the state.
Right. I just want to make sure that because $14,300 budget is a lot different than 14,300 to Washoe and Clark for sure. So thank you for clarifying that. With that, well, I guess public participation. Sorry.
Is there any public comment? Any more comment from the board?
Sure, Keller, I'll make a motion that we approve 12I as presented and appreciate the comments from Mr. Haskin.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Motion to approve by Commissioner Jacobson, seconded by Commissioner Hendricks. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. Please back to the regular agenda for possible action. To approve the request from Niles Minerals for a zoning map amendment to amend the zoning map designation from the Title 10 district of RL3 third rural residential district 5 acres to the Title 15 district of EMU and plan mixed use located at 3370 and 3090 Silver Springs for 2 parcels totaling approximately 4.67 acres, APN 018 36401 and R18 36402 and PLZ 2024064.
Mr. Chair. Per the NRS 281A.420 and abundance of transparency, I just wanted to disclose a prior relationship with in my private capacity as a contractor, Castanelli Landscaping and Construction. I have a minor contract with Miles Properties LLC. The applicant in this agenda item is related to Miles LLC or may be with the same principles. My business has no contract with the applicant. The contract is with Miles Properties and it's not financially significant to my business. I've not discussed this application with the applicant. This decision for or against will have no effect on my business interests or contract with Miles Properties. But for that reason, I conclude the independence of judgment for a reasonable person in my situation is not materially affected by this business relationship. It doesn't disqualify
from voting in this matter. I just want to disclose that relationship. Thank you for the disclosure. Thank you. Go ahead and present it.
Good morning, Commissioners. Good morning, Chairman. Lisa Nash, Senior Planner. We're here today for the request of a zoning amendment to change the current zoning on 2 parcels totaling 4.67 acres in size from the existing Title 10 district of 3rd Rural Residential to the Title 15 district of EMU, which is employment mixed use. If I'm not speaking up enough, please let me know. My voice is a little scratchy today. So the property is located at 3270 and 3090 Twain Avenue in Silver Springs, and it's a relatively flat piece of property. So here we have the aerial from the county assessors as well as the plat map. Just off to the right on the map, that is the end of the Silver Springs Regional Airport, and this property, these parcels are located right in line with that. Next plan. For the master plan, you can see that it is located in the employment district, and it is, and the airport just to the west is the large purple piece that is public and quasi-public. I didn't put all the codes up there and everything, but like the red down below is commercial, the orange is suburban, residential, the yellow are low density residential, those are quite a ways south of the property. And that small green spot is parks. This is in the suburban character district within Silver Springs. So we're here today about the zone change request. And they're requesting to change the existing RR5, which is Title 15, or RR3, which is Title 10, to EMU, employment mixed use. And you can see that there is employment mixed use to the west on those properties right there, and one of the properties to the south. The remaining properties to the south are designated as RR5 or RR3, sorry, and the properties against the highway, against 50 there, are neighborhood commercial. There's also the little pink block off to the left is also considered heavy industrial suburban to the west. So we do feel that the request to change to EMU is in compliance with the master plan designation of employment. In reality, the residential below, when we did the last master plan change, made those incompatible with employment, or they're not listed in the employment master plan district. However, we have a lot of areas like that around the community, and the fact that we have commercial to the north and employment mixed use to the west or east seems to indicate that this would be a feasible location for this change. So as usual, we have the findings. These are in chapter 15 to 2005. And I've just briefly listed what the 3 findings are, and I'll go into highlights of those. So this is fits the master plan community description for Silver Springs is shown, and it is an allowed zoning district within the employment master. However, B, the parcels are located within the Silver Springs Mutual Water Company, but they are not within the Lyon County Utilities District for sewer. So as they currently exist, so they would have to be served by an individual on-site sewage disposal system. And I just want to point out that the boundary for the sewer service area is adjacent to the west, and the applicant could apply for inclusion in the sewer district at a future time, although inclusion, of course, is not guaranteed at any point. But it is, the properties directly or off to the east are in the sewer district. So, and C, the proposed amendment would be consistent with the designation of employment, the master plan designation. They're not introducing a new or incompatible use. And it does support a consistent development pattern, which is something we look at when we're looking at a zone amendment. I do want to point out that the presence of the RR3, the rural residential directly to the south, would require additional screening and landscaping due to that residential adjacency, depending on the type of future development. And we would see any type of future development come back in either for a CUP, which is most likely, or an ADR, administrative design review, which would let us have another look at this and make sure that we're protecting the interests of the residential properties on the other side of Twain Avenue there. So this is not a decision that allows them to just move forward immediately with development without additional review and consideration. Next, at the November 12th Planning Commission meeting, the application was approved unanimously by the board to forward a recommendation of approval to you, and I have included a recommended motion. If you have any questions, I'm here.
Any questions? Do you happen to have a map that shows how far away the sewer boundary is?
I do not, however, let me see, I think my notes. It is a few lots.
So let's see if it's feasible for that to, or is it way out of the way?
It's the
Yes.
adjacent properties, and
Thank
those are the same owners, by the way, so I believe they might be able to get this included. It's just another step they would have to go through. Mhm.
Any questions from the public? Saying no, entertain a motion.
Motion based on the aforementioned finding, one move that the Board of County Commissioners approve the request by Miles LLC for zoning map amendment to amend the zoning map designation from the Title 10 district of RR3, third rural residential district, 5 acres, to the Title 15 district of EMU, employment mixed use on 2 parcels totaling approximately 4.67 acres located at 3270 and 3090 Twain Avenue on Silver Springs, APN 018-364-01 and 018-364-02 PLZ 2024-064.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Hockenberg, seconded by Commissioner Jacobson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
Thank you.
Spend this for 13 for possible action to approve the request from Lyon County School District for a conditional use permit to place an adult education modular classroom at the Dayton High School on land subject to RR20, rural residential 20-acre minimum, zoning located at 335 Old Dayton Valley Road in Dayton on an approximate 80.45 acre parcel, APN 016-271-11. PLZ 2404057. Go ahead and present it.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Good morning, Commissioners. Louis Carriola, Senior Planner, presenting this request for a conditional use permit from the Lyon County School District. So the requested conditional use permit is for a modular classroom on the existing Dayton High School campus. These maps here on the left, the vicinity map showing the relative location of the campus east of Highway 50. Zoomed in on the right, we can see the subject parcel and then the access roads coming off of Dayton Valley Road and then Breakwater Drive coming in from the west. Well, a little clarification on the request. The submittal materials and the staff report all mention a modular classroom. What that actually means is a commercial coach. Commercial coach being a pre-manufactured building used for commercial purposes, not for residential purposes. And per our development code Title 15, a conditional use permit is required for placement of commercial coaches. Our development code typically only allows them in public and quasi-public uses. So that would be schools, hospitals. We can see one maybe used for fire district, that sort of use. Some parcel details, approximately 80.45 acres, subject parcel, already developed with the high school campus. The staff report and the application materials did include a number of photos, supplied by Mr. Bloom from the school district. This is one of them looking south, towards the school at the vacant area, where the proposed classroom would be located. The master plan and character districts are displayed here. The site's within the suburban character district, meaning it has existing access and public utilities, or at least that's what typically we see in suburban areas. And the master plan designation is public, quasi-public, which aligns with, of course, the existing use. The applicable zoning is rural residential 20-acre minimum, and within that zoning, a conditional use permit is required for the commercial coach. Some of the details of the request kind of outline the intended use for this commercial coach. It's intended for adult education, but the adult education for one's GED is conducted online. So per the school district, this location is primarily to be used for test taking and an administrative staff member, maybe some printing of materials or picking up study materials. So it's not really a typical classroom. Per the school district and Mr. Bloom, there are some regulations that require that the structure be separate from the high school student facility, which I think probably makes sense to everybody, that the adults are not in the same space. Notably, the location is adjacent to a large existing parking lot, so there's no need for existing parking. There is one sort of little snafu to still work out, and that's with the Lyon County Utilities Department. They do recognize that there's an existing sewer main whose exact location has not exactly been pinpointed, so that potentially could have to shift the location of the building. I don't think there's anything new here. We're used to seeing these structures. It's just an example elevation. The building itself, approximately 1,440 square feet. The findings for conditional use permits are found in chapter 230.06 of title 15. And I've summarized some of staff's analysis. Of course, the staff report will include all of the details, but the use is consistent with the master plan designation of public and quasi-public. We will still, in community development, be reviewing building permit submittals. As previously mentioned, the Lyon County Utility District would work directly with the school district on locating the modular classroom in a location that won't somehow compromise the existing the sewer main. The impacts, this is about as easy a CUP we can review for impacts because the location's within the existing campus. So this isn't a new site, this isn't a vacant site. So the impacts on neighboring properties are virtually nil, only because they're already adjacent to the school site. Any change to the use or expansion, because this is a conditional use permit, would require a second hearing and direction from the community development director. That was a point that was brought up by the planning commission in their questions when they heard the item on December 10th, 2024. The planning commission did recommend approval of the CUP 7-0 to this body. And the recommended motion is here for your convenience and of course available for questions, as are some representatives from the school district.
Is anyone on the board have a question? Commissioner Jacobson?
Yeah, could we get the school district to step up? Thank you, Mr. Carroll. Great job.
James, Director of Operations for Lyon County School District, for the record.
Thank you, Chair Keller. So Mr. Bates, Darrell, Mr. Bloom submitted one wonderful photo. He must have been running low on film. Where exactly is this building going in front of the in that vacant area in front of the campus?
Correct. So it's in that vacant lot right in between the two parking lots. One from the football campus, one from the building in between.
I know when people pull up to a school, the first thing they want to see is a modular. Is there going to be any aesthetics kind of going around that to break it up a little bit?
So fortunately, this isn't directly in front of that driveway into the school. It is a very similar thought that we had, that's not what we're trying to really do. Also, unfortunately, the way utilities are laid in Dayton and across this county in general, this is the best place for this modular.
Roger that, and then just how with today's technology, how tough is it going to be to find that sewer line?
I don't believe it'll be too tough. I think we have a pretty good general idea of where that sewer line is. And we also have a contract in place to kind of figure that stuff out. So it'll be all right.
So before Kirk gets in the backhoe and starts gripping ground, he'll know where that is at, I'm sure.
Fingers are crossed.
All right, thank you. I just felt the need to get you up there.
It's all good. Thank you.
Any more questions? Any questions from the public? Seeing none. Do we have a motion?
Based on findings A through G, I move that the Lyon County Board of County Commissioners approve the request from Lyon County School District for a conditional use permit to place an adult education modular classroom at the Dayton High School on land subject to RR 20 rural residential 20-acre minimum zoning located at 335 Old Dayton Valley Road in Dayton on an approximately 80.45 acre parcel APN 016-27111 PLZ 2024-057.
And second.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Hendricks, seconded by Commissioner Jacobson. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Brings us to Commissioner Advisory Board issues. 14A for possible action, appointing a member to the Planning Commission with the term expiring December 31st, 2028. I'll open it up for discussion.
I'd like to see the applicant from Stagehouse. They haven't had a voice on the Planning Commission in several years.
Any other discussion?
I think we have some very good candidates here. And I know that getting Ms. Sarasota on there, getting some voice from the north, looking through our list of where folks are at, and maybe I've forgotten what we've discussed, but it seems like in the past, the board has always been for wanting some voice from Central Lyon, because that's where obviously we do a lot of our business. Ms. Palmer would be excellent. We have another applicant, Wes Henderson, that's got a great working knowledge with the board and Title 15 and our others. So I'm going to be open-minded, but I think we at this time we just have one from Central Lyon in there.
Any more comments? Any comments from the public? I see Mandy's got her hand up. I'll give it to you in a second, Mandy, as soon as we're done with the room.
Andrew Merritt, applicant from Stagecoach. Wanted to say I am applying because I want to be a part of making decisions for the county, as well as looking at finding good fits for our area, being it's more of a rural area and all that. So.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant?
I had one, just reviewing the application, it says you haven't attended any planning commission meetings at all?
No.
Does that include like on Zoom or just in person or none at all?
None at all.
Okay,
Other than I did watch some after more recently,
okay,
but that was about it.
thank you.
Since we have an applicant up, is there any other applicants out there that want to speak?
I just wanted to say congratulations to those that are, that have been elected, our new, commissioners, and congratulations, Mr. Keller, for your chair position. My name is Patty Palmer. I wanted to put a face to my name. I just wanted to let you know that I did apply for the planning commission. I also, you'll see my name on the for the library trustee position. The reason that I did that is because I do have the time and I wanted to serve on both boards. So I just wanted to just clarify that. So again, you know, your choice. I am a real estate agent. I serve all of Lyon County, and I really want to serve the public and in all of, you know, planning. Also, you know, the library is very important too. So I just wanted just to clarify, that's why you'll see my name in, you know, both applications. And that's it.
Thank you. Any questions for the applicant? Thank you. Any more comment from the chambers? Okay, we'll go on to Zoom. Mandy, you're on now.
Good morning. I would just like to say that I support Andrew Merritt, the applicant from Stagecoach. I do believe we need some representation on the Planning Commission from Stagecoach, as we are receiving more and more applications for development as it moves east. So I would just like to say that I do support Andrew. I also do have some concerns about Wes Henderson. I think he was a great county commissioner. I guess the concern would be is going back on the planning commission, if there would be any undue influence, or I'm not really sure what, but I just feel that that is kind of like maybe putting some undue pressures on county commissioners to approve or deny. But that's all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Any more? This is a comment from the board. And so put a couple of names out there, but I'm going to put one out and we'll see where it goes. We'll start off with Andrew Merritt, and the reason why I'm putting that, my personal feeling on that, is because there is no representation in that area. Nothing against the applicants or anything else, but we do end up with some strong vocal opinions out of the Stagecoach area about the development in that area. And I'd like to have someone on the planning commission to move that forward. So that's a reason why I'm putting that name out first. So do I need a second for that?
So, Mr. Chair, the planning commission appointments, you make the nomination as the chair, and then it has to be approved by the board.
Right, but do I need a second?
No.
Okay. So go to a vote. Those in favor for Andrew Merritt, please say yea.
Aye.
Aye. Aye. Those against?
Nay. Nay.
Motion passes 3-2. Welcome, Andrew, to the planning commission. Get your stuff signed up.
Mr. Chair, if you could state who was opposed for the record.
Commissioners Castanelli and Commissioner Stockaday did not approve that motion. Okay, moving on to 14B for possible action, appoint up to 2 members for the Dayton Regional Advisory Board with terms expiring December 31st, 2026. We have one application in front of us. Now, one. Open it up for discussion. Anybody on the board?
He's served on that board for a while now and he does a very good job.
Any comment from the public? And I don't see anybody online, so I'll entertain a motion.
Move to appoint Ronald Wyman to the Dayton Regional Advisory Board with the term expiring December 31st, 2026.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Hendricks and seconded by Commissioner Castellano. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0. 14C for possible action, appoint up to 2 members to the Mount House Advisory Board with terms expiring December 31st, 2026. We have 2 applications in front of us. Any comment from the board? Any comment from the public? I'll entertain a motion.
Continue this to the Mount House Advisory Board with terms expiring December 31st, 2026. Those 2 members will be left Trowbridge and John and Tiffany.
Second that.
Motion approved by Commissioner Hockaday for both applicants and seconded by Commissioner Castellano. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passed 5-0. Possible action, appoint up to 5 members to the Smith Valley Park and Recreation Advisory Board with 3 terms expiring December 31st, 2026 and 2 terms expiring December 31st, 2026. We have 1 application in front of us, Celeste Thornhill. Do we have any discussion on the board? Any discussion from the public? See, nobody on. Sure.
Celeste Thornhill for the Smith Valley Park and Recreation Advisory Board with the term expiring 31st of December 2026.
Have a second?
Second.
Motion by David Hockaday to approve Celeste Thornhill and seconded by Commissioner Hendricks. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. 14E for possible action, appoint up to 3 members to the Central Lyon Parks and Recreation Advisory Board with terms expiring December 31st, 2026. We have 2 applications in front of us, Thomas Purvis and Danelle Hasbrook. Is there any discussion on the board? I'd like to ask what's the makeup on that board right now?
Aaron Lopez, for the record, when you say makeup, are you asking who's currently on position in which area? There's a couple from Silver Springs. And then I believe 1 other one from Dayton only. So the other members from Mount House did not reapply, but I believe.
So it's pretty spread out right now.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. That's all I want to make sure that was district was spread out because it goes all the way from Carson City all the way to Silver Springs area. So I want to make sure it was spread out. With that being said, is there any more comment from the public? I'll entertain a motion.
Move to approve Thomas Purvis and Danielle Hasbrook to the Central Lyon County Parks and Recreation Advisory Board with terms expiring December 31st, 2026.
Second.
I'll second.
Motion by Commissioner Hendricks and seconded by Commissioner Castellano. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0. 14F, possible action upon a member to the Walker River Weed Control Board with a term expiring December 31st, 2025. And we have one applicant, Brandon. Thank you. Yeah. Young Tommy. Okay,
This is a 3-person board and this will make the 3rd person, so.
any discussion? Any public comment? Seeing none on the screen either, entertain a motion.
Chair Keller, I'll make a motion that we appoint to the Walker River Weed Control Board, a term expiring December 31st, 2025. Brandon Gallant to this position.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Jacobson, second by Commissioner Hockaday. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion passes 5-0.
And I apologize for butchering his last name.
We're gonna move on to 15. Does anybody need a break before we move on to this one?
If we could take a 5-minute, that'd be great.
Okay, let's go ahead and take a 5-minute break. Thank you. We'll bring this back up. Under number 15, County Manager. 15A, for possible action, appoint county commissioners and staff to the following boards, commissions, or committees for the calendar year 2025. Comstock Historic District, Debt Management Commission, Dayton Valley Conservation District, Mason Valley Conservation District, Smith Valley Conservation District, Nevada Public Agency Insurance Pool, Public Agency Compensation Trust, Nevada Association of Counties, Board of Directors, 1 commissioner, Legislative Committee, 2 commissioners, Public Lands and Natural Resources Committee, 2 members, Local Emergency Planning Committee, Northern Nevada Development Authority, Nevada Works, Walker River Irrigation District, Carson Water Subconservancy District, Lyon County Room Tax Board, Quarterly Jail Inspection, Truckee Canal Safety Commission, Lyon County Regional Transportation Commission, Quad County Legislative Coalition, Carson Area Metropolitan Planning Organization, State Land Use Planning Agency, Nevada Local Justice Reinvestment Coordinating Council, Nevada Commission on the Aging, Intergovernmental Executive Committee with the expiring term of December 31st, 2025. All that one expires then. Okay, we got it up on front of the screen in front of you guys. And we got who's there right now. I guess we can just go down and can you type on this as we go? So we can go down and see if the commissioner that sits there wants to stay on there and if anybody else wants to be considered. And we'll just go down and see where we sit for right now. So we'll start off with Comstock Historic District. Commissioner Hendrick would like to stay on that. Anybody else interested? Okay, Debt Management Commission.
I would like to stay on that.
Anybody else interested? Dayton Valley Conservation District.
I would like to stay on that as well.
I'm also interested in that.
Mason Valley Conservation District. Commissioner Hockaday, do you want to stay on that?
Stay on that.
Smith Valley Conservation District.
Stay on that.
Nevada Public Agency Pool, where Josh Foley sits on that right now. Anybody else interested?
Yeah, I was gonna say on those 2, my recommendation would be to leave Mr. Foley as.
I know your recommendation, but they're all boards, so we can still have a decision.
Just making that recommendation.
So I'm asking any commissioner if they can want to step into that hot water. Not seeing any. Go down to Nevada Association of Counties. Board of Directors, Henderson isn't on there. That's my position right now, and I want to stay on there. Does anybody else want to apply? Alternate is right now is Tammy Hendricks. You want to stay as alternate?
I'd like to stay on that.
Anybody else want to apply? On the legislative committee, we have two people sitting on there, or one person sitting on there right now, and that's just me. Is there another commissioner that wants to be on the legislative committee? You? Okay, we'll leave it blank for right now. Public lands and natural resources,
I'd like to stay on that.
and I'd like to stay on that. Is anybody else interested? Okay, local emergency planning committee.
I'll stay on that.
Anybody else interested? Northern Nevada Development Authority.
I'm interested in that, Chair.
And I'm going to not be interested in that. Additional appointment to an NDA. We've had the county manager in the past because he does have a background. He used to be employed with an NDA and it works good for our reports and stuff. So hopefully he would stay on there.
Stay on.
Anybody else interested? Nevada Works. We have Commissioner Jacobson there now.
I'll stay on it if nobody else is interested.
We're allowed two people to there.
I would put my name in on that. If, yeah.
Are they meeting?
No, very regularly.
Okay. Walker River Irrigation District.
Stay on that.
Anybody else interested? Carson Water Subconservancy District.
I'd like to stay on that.
Is anybody else interested? Lyon County Room Tax Board. Commissioner Jacobson sits on that.
Yeah, I'd be interested in staying on that. We seem to have the majority of the motels. Northern end.
Anybody else interested? Anybody interested to be the alternate? I'll stay on there. Quarterly jail inspection.
Stay on that.
Anybody else interested? Truckee Canal Safety Commission.
I'll stay on that if no one else is interested, but they haven't had a safety meeting in years, my understanding.
Good for the resume.
It's the name to put with that, so.
I'd stay on as alternate. Anybody else interested in that? Okay. Lyon County Regional Transportation Committee. I'd like to stay on that. Is anybody else interested? Lyon County Legislative Coalition. And we've talked about this in the past. It's usually the chair and the vice chair taking over that position. That's where we've stood in the past. So I'd like to be on that.
Oh. I'll do that with you.
Okay. Anybody else interested or want to change it up or anything, let me know. That's just what we've done historically in the past. Brings us to Carson Area Metro Planning Organization, Campo.
Mr. Chair, I would take that one.
Anybody else interested in that? Okay, SLUPAC, State Land Use Planning Agency. I would sit on that. Or if Commissioner Hendricks would be interested in that, that's state land. Okay. Nevada Commission on the Aging.
That's me. I'll stay on that.
I would be, if there's an alternate, I'd be interested in that.
Is there an alternate on that, or can we check into that?
I know we have active senior citizen advisory board in Fernley that may feed into that as well.
So are you withdrawing your name? Okay, so Jacobson's the only name there. I skipped one about a local justice reinvestment coordinating council with the DA Steve Rice sitting there now. Does any board member want to jump into that? I guess I should ask Steve Rice if he still wants it.
I'll stay on.
Okay. Intergovernmental Executive Committee, that's the Ellen Range, and I would like to stay on that. With a alternate. County Manager Haskins been sitting on that.
And just for some clarification on that one, that term doesn't actually expire until this coming December. We put it on there in case somebody didn't want to be.
Oh, okay. So if you guys want to revisit it in December, we can do that too, because it doesn't expire yet, so there's no need to fill it. Okay, so we only have two, I think, or one that we're going to have to discuss. Okay, so Dayton Valley Conservation District, I'll let Commissioner Hendricks talk about it and then go to Commissioner Casanelli. Commissioner Hendricks sits on that.
That's more in John's backyard. If he feels strongly about doing that, I'll let him take it.
Yeah, I mean, I've been, lifelong resident and I've got some long established relationships with a lot of the stakeholders on that, in that district, and definitely would be interested in that. Yeah. I don't know. I mean, I don't want to step on any toes.
No, okay.
Looks like we're all getting along, so that works out perfect. We'll leave the additional appointment to legislative committee. Open for right now because we don't know one stepped up.
Which one?
The legislative committee for NACO. They meet Friday, but it's going to get intense here. It's weekly meetings, but you're going to be sitting on the Lyon County. I understand. So we'll just leave that open, or if we want to ask county manager to tune in. Or we can just leave it open. Okay.
So we're discussing the legislative committee, correct?
Yes, on NACO.
So why won't we have our lobbyist on there?
Someone's in house of that organization.
I would probably have her number one but
is there conflict?
I think it's Taylor Allison, Emergency Management Government Affairs for the record. I believe it's only commissioners for that committee. However, I have been invited to participate in the meetings to represent Lyon County, along with all the other county government affairs liaisons.
she will be involved.
Correct. Already participating as of this week.
Okay, so this is an action item, so I'm going to go to public comment real quick and see if there's any public comment out there. Seeing none, and then screen, we'll come back. Just entertain a motion and just got to figure it out.
I'll take a stab. Should I read down through each and every one, or should we just as presented?
As presented.
Okay. Chairman Keller, make a motion to appoint the county commissioners and staff to the following boards, commissions, and committees for the calendar year 2025 as presented.
Second.
You have a motion and a second. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Brings us to 15B for possible action, discussion and review of the draft revised bylaws of the Nevada Association of Counties, which will be voted on by the NACO Board of Directors at their meeting on Friday, January 31st, 2025.
Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. So the draft bylaws are in your, were in your, included in your packet. They made a number of changes. One of the notable ones that I noticed in there was that, instead of, when NACO goes to change their bylaws, instead of it coming back to all the Board of County Commissioners, it would be a 2/3 vote of the NACO board. Of course, we do have representation on that. So.
And this looks like it got changed a little bit from what was presented at the NACO annual meeting.
Yeah, I wasn't at the NACO annual meeting, but so I can't really speak to that. This is what was sent to me.
Yeah, they took some of the changes they had on there. They didn't go through with it. They decided to leave them off. So, any comment? Or do you guys want to take time to read it or review it or?
Chairman Keller, I just looking at the last page, which is page 188 of this packet. I read through that last paragraph, section 1, parliamentary authority. The very last sentence, or actually the last part of the sentence. Bylaws or on rules. I wasn't quite sure what they were trying to get at there. When you read through, I mean, that is one long sentence. So I've tried to figure out exactly what they're trying to say.
I'm trying to locate what you. 187.
Very last sentence.
188.
188.
Oh, I'm on the wrong page.
It just didn't flow right, but you know, if you bring that up with them, they can look at it and see if they want to do something with that. The very last sentence there, it just, these bylaws or on rules or regulations. Not sure if they put the on in there by mistake, and it should just say bylaws or rules or regulations.
I think I forgot the word afterwards.
Yeah, it's just
above rules.
It could have been a typo or it could have been something they're thinking in the whole last paragraph, but I just caught that when I was reading through it. It didn't make sense. And being an old language arts teacher, it didn't make sense. I thought I'd bring it up.
I would point out that the section down the page beforehand, section 2, adoption, where they crossed it all out. It actually is taken away from the rural areas, their vote. And anytime the rural area gets something against their vote, it kind of brings concern. Rurals have a lot more say on NACO than Washoe or Clark, and even with Carson involved there too. But this is how many commissioners you have. So the rurals have a lot more commissioners. Now they're bringing it down just to the vote of the county. So I just wanted to bring it to your attention. We still outnumber it quite a bit.
Chair Keller, I guess when I read through it, I had a question. Usually changes are either a different color or they're in bold, and so the proposed amendments must be approved by a majority vote of the voting active member counties. Is that all that's supposed to be left in there, or is that whole thing wiped out? And why was that in bold? I guess I didn't follow that.
Like, if you could bring it up on the screen, is a different color. Our packets gives black and white.
Sorry, our printer here is black and white.
And that's fine. We don't buy a color printer for us.
Yeah, I had to go online and do it so I knew exactly, because I can't read it when it's all striked out. And
it'd be 187, Aaron.
I think it's page 16, 15 or 16. That one right there.
So are those changes and then they wiped out the changes?
that's what it looks like to me.
Yeah, and I don't know if that was just something, the quirk of the track changes when they.
I think they wanted to put that in, so I don't know why it's struck out. I'll ask him. And the reason why that proposed amendments must be approved by a majority vote of the voting active member counties is before it used to be all counties. So even if you weren't a member, you could vote against the bylaws of NACO. So you could be so they could screw with the bylaws of NACO even though you're not a member. But right now, all our members, all the counties are members of NACO. In the past, we've had it where they're during the downturn, I think that some of them opted out of NACO because they just didn't have the budget. If you don't have the money, you can't spend it.
Well, on the $14,000 raise,
Well, some of those counties aren't paying that.
we are.
Yeah. Any other questions? Discussion? I don't know if we have to take action. It says possible action.
Yeah, so the red section here that's being proposed to take out, still would require this board to take a vote on it then.
Okay, so I'll go to public comment real quick. Do we have any public comment? Anybody online? Okay, bring it back to the board. Any more discussion or I will entertain a motion?
I guess I'm just hesitant to make a motion if. So where we could bring this back next meeting and ask for clarity on. The struck out and maybe even address some of Commissioner Hockaday's concerns with the wordsmithing on that last. Or should we just move forward because it's their document?
Was a time frame. It's the end of the month, so we could bring it back if you'd like. I believe, yeah, we can bring it back. I can get some clarification.
Actually, we'll have to invite someone from NACO to come down and talk. So I'm good with that if there's no action.
No action.
Okay, so just agendize it the next time. We don't have to take any action. We'll move on to 15C for possible action, direct staff to draft a comment letter to the Bureau of Land Management for the sale of public lands and the underlying federal mineral estate associated with the Anaconda copper mine site. Commissioner Haskin.
Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager.
Manager Haskin.
I wasn't gonna say it. We received this letter from BLM requesting comments on Atlantic Ridgefield's request to purchase a little over 2,000 acres of the Anaconda mine site. You read through the preliminary environmental assessment. The purpose is to expedite the cleanup of the site there. BLM, even in their executive summary, said that the cleanup would happen faster if it was privately owned. It would also put that under the jurisdiction of, not the cleanup, I should say, but the site is under the jurisdiction of Lyon County as far as Title 15 is concerned. So I do know that, there's been talks about another company potentially doing some work out there remining, and then they would have to clean up stuff too. So that's something to consider here, but I think either way, it helps get the site cleaned up, and that's a good thing. Happy to answer any questions.
Any questions?
Yes, Chairman Keller, on page 213 of our packet, water quality surface, they say, yeah, there's all this stuff in the water, but there isn't anything that discusses any type of testing in the past. Every time we've had a meeting having to do with anything, with the water over there. I requested that there be current unbiased testing company do a test on the water, both in the pit and anywhere else. Of course, they've got the leaching going on and the drainage and everything else that they do test, but it just kind of says, oh, there's all this stuff in the water, but it really doesn't say much in this report about it. Fuels and fire management on the next page, 214. The majority of the land in the project area is disturbed with very little vegetation. That's true because the ground's so poisoned that nothing grows. You know, those plows have been sitting there since the 70s, and my yard's full of weeds. That dirt up there has nothing on it, except a few little spots of brush. So, you know, they just say, yeah, there's not much there, but again, what's the point if you're just going to make a visual observation? There was a question about access on that same page, 214. Those were just some of the things that has to do with the environment that I'm concerned about. And if BLM is going to be pushing the property off of their rolls, then ARCO needs I guess now needs to look at it, and whoever takes it over needs to be aware of the environmental impact.
Comment? Any more comment? Comment.
Bisha Wama. Ikima. Go shoot Nui Numawasho. Guy Dakota. Kuyui Dakota. Kamu Dakota. Huzi Dakota. Tabusi Dakota. EP Inan Iwabatu. Hungalelti Pawalu Wamelti. Chief Truckies Band and Clan. Ataguraru Granata. Hamunanishtatai. Good morning. I come to you from the Tabusi Dakota Band here in Yarrington. It's actually Waboka's water camp. My name is Johanna M., and I've been involved in the Anaconda Copper Mine site since May of 2000. I used to be the water quality coordinator for the Yarrington Paiute tribe, but I had a personal injury, and it's taken me out of, like you asked, sir, the water quality monitoring game. So I was in the process of monitoring the groundwater between on the Yarrington Paiute Tribal Reservation between the years of May 2000 and December 2006. And in that process, we did discover uranium in the groundwater, and there's been a lot of concern from tribal members and community members here in Yarrington about the quality of our drinking water. So not to just say as the surface water, but also the groundwater, because it's all connected. And as far as the water quality monitoring is right now only taking place on the site, as you well know, the deferral agreement is a part of the interim administrator order on consent, of which I have a copy, and I'm here to introduce myself today as a nonprofit coming to you as Tabusi Dakota no Obatanuma, where I plan on creating an Anaconda Copper Mine Site Yarrington Tribal Technical Work Group to involve our youth, to get them involved in what's going on in our environment. Because the whole reason I'm concerned is I was the one who actually pushed for Superfund, because I was working as an environmental protection agency for the Yarrington Paiute tribe as an employee of the Environmental Protection Agency, and being funded and granted by them to have that position at the Yarrington Paiute tribe, for the whole purpose to me meant protecting our environment from any further degradation by mining or agriculture or whatever kind of economic development that comes to our area, that make sure that they abide by the permit process. And, you know, there's a National Environmental Policy Act in place, and that's Congress enacted it. And it's for the protection of the environment, for fish and wildlife as well. And there are, you know, incidences of technically enhanced, naturally occurring radioactive material going on up there that isn't ever mentioned. It's called T-norm. And you only find it after, well, it's been processed uranium or processed mining. So I would strongly, and I'm going to actually write a letter of opposition to the sale of further public lands until NDEP has the Nevada State Department of Environmental Protection has an opportunity to completely assess and right now they're just finished the risk assessment for people who work, their health and risk assessment for the persons who work up at the mine site. But overall, it's just for the protection of the workers at the mine site. And what they're saying now from the last public meeting I attended, that they said there is no chance of that contamination plume moving or getting bigger, or there's any more threats to it, but we don't know because you statement.
Your time's up.
Okay, thank you. It is biased though.
Good morning, Leslie Sonnet, representing the citizens to protect Smith Valley. The stated purpose of this proposed land conveyance is to facilitate the remediation of the Anaconda copper mine site that was developed to meet requirements pursuant to an agreement between the US EPA and NDEP in 2018. That's it, just remediation for the site. Because of this, the EA justifies ignoring the potential impact of many critical issues as it is solely the transfer of land outside of federal oversight and no physical activities are considered. When all the parties entered into this agreement in 2018, they knew what acreage was public and what would be required for the remediation. Remediation has been active and ongoing. It is disingenuous to now say it needs to be sold and become private in order to fulfill this obligation. This is really about selling public land to a private mining company for a mining project without honestly disclosing the intended use of the land to be conveyed. Scoping for this conveyance began in late 2020 and BLM sat on it until recently. In the meantime, Lyon Copper and Gold and its U.S. subsidiary, Sangatsi Peak Services, have been actively advancing the Arrington Copper project at the property. This is made abundantly clear in the detailed approximately 400-page preliminary economic assessment issued by Lyon Copper Gold in March 24, well before BLM assessment was issued. This should have been known to BLM since SPS currently owns the private lands and holds the unpatented mining claims on the public lands within the Anaconda site per the BLM EA. Lyon Copper Gold is not making any secret as to their plans, as found on page 87 of their document, and I quote, "In order to facilitate remediation by ARC, advanced discussions are ongoing between ARC and BLM for ARC to acquire the BLM unpatented mining claims at the Arrington property. Upon acquisition, ARC will convey title all minerals to SPS, and the parties will execute a surface use agreement allowing SPS the right to explore and mine the property. Per Lyon Copper and Gold, SPS is coordinating with ARC regarding the timing and outcome of the BLM property transfer. Their document was prepared assuming the land sale of BLM properties will be completed prior to the start of mining. The Lyon Copper Gold plan outlines critical issues that should be evaluated in a thorough environmental impact statement before a decision is made. Whether intentional or not, this smacks of a backroom deal for a land transfer with a wink and a nod towards the ultimate goal of multiple open pits and all that comes with a new mining project. The lack of transparency by BLM does not help Lyon Copper and Gold or Lyon County if you choose to support this conveyance. This proposed action is not in the public interest or good for Lyon County residents. I ask that you submit comments opposing this action in its current form, but would also like you to object to the sale of any public land for mining in Lyon County. Thank you.
Thank you, Karen. Thank you. Is there any other public comment?
Judith Harker, Wellington, Nevada, speaking as a resident of Lyon County and as a member of the Citizens to Protect Smith Valley. I urge the Board of County Commissioners to direct staff to prepare a response opposing the Atlantic Richfield EA that was released for comment in December 2024. This EA is essentially the same one that ARC requested in 2020. It does not reflect the remediations completed since then, nor the proposed mining activities by Lyon Cover Gold under their subsidiary Sangasse Peak Services. Our group and myself, we're still working hard on our response to this EA, and we'll share it with the board and with Andrew Hoskins as soon as we have it ready. Several issues we want to address so far. Number one, federal laws requires direct sale of land, of public land, to be in the public interest. This proposal serves only the interests of ARC and Lyon Copper Gold. It's not in the public interest to remove federal oversight of the remediation of this Superfund. I know it's not called a Superfund site, but that's what it is. Nor of the proposed mining operations that are going to be going on there. And table 3 of the EA is called resource concerns. For most of the 20 resource concerns that they list as classified as NA or as not affected, BLM includes this argument. The proposed action is solely the transfer of land outside of federal oversight. No physical activities are considered as part of the proposed action. It's a land conveyance, and it's not expected to change any ongoing or planned remediation activities. So basically, it's just signing a piece of paper, pushing it across the table from BLM to ARC. But one justification for the proposed action is for ARC to implement robust land use restrictions. That's on page 10. And another page 33. Long-term restrictive land use covenants would be placed on the private land to control future activities. These unspecified land use restrictions that deny access can actually be physical activities that BLM is denying that they're there. For example, fencing off former grazing lands, that's a physical activity. The BLM assertion that the conveyance of the land will not restrict access to dirt roads and trails, that's on page 18, contradicts the ARC intention to restrict access. The proposed action is not a simple paper conveyance. There will be consequences that must be addressed. And the only way to do that is to require them to do a full EIS and to give full disclosure about what's going to be happening. The third thing I want to say is having to do with the final date of closure date doesn't really mean anything because they're going to continue mining.
Thank you. Any more public comment? Is there anybody on the line? Any public comment coming back to, oh wait, I've got one. John, GBRW.
Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
Good afternoon, commissioners. Thank you for considering this item. My name is John Hatter. I'm the executive director of Great Basin Resource Watch. We are a nonprofit here in the state of Nevada. We monitor mining. We look for accountability and actions in the best public interest. We have been following the Anaconda site and been involved with it for many years. I urge the commission and staff to take a close look at what is being proposed with this land sale. There are a lot of details that are not mentioned there. Under NEPA law, they are supposed to consider reasonably foreseeable actions. And the preliminary environmental assessment is such an action. It's very possible that this EA is illegal under the National Environmental Policy Act. It does not detail what these reasonable foreseeable actions, a very important aspect of the NEPA process, which the state of Nevada regulation do not require, by the way. So this is an extra layer of oversight that I think is very important for your community and the people in Nevada. Future actions such as remining in the area, I would again urge that you want to know as much as possible about what they're proposing and have a complete analysis of future actions. This land sale will cut off that analysis. under NEPA. And while there are state regulations are in place, there's a lot more information that's disclosed that could be a benefit of the community, including economic analysis, which is included in any kind of NEPA process. And I also concur with the previous commenters that a full EIS is necessary, especially since there's foreseeable action of remining is on the table. That really ought to be analyzed in this EA process. So I thank you for your time. And again, I say, please be careful, take a careful look at this. I would not assume that it is necessarily beneficial for remediation to transfer this a land in this fashion. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Is there any more public comment? Now seeing none, we'll bring it back to the board. Do you have anything to clarify or you want to?
Yeah, sure. So this item is to provide direction to me. We have time to bring this back at the next board meeting, so I would bring back a draft letter. If that's the direction that the board chooses, the board can choose to be make comments on the CA, pose it, or take no action on it at all and not submit a comment letter. There's no requirement that we do. It's entirely.
Oh, sorry. I have a question. If it does transfer to private lands, the remediation and all those things, how much of that then comes under our control? Does that give us more power to hold their feet to the fire or no?
I would say on the remediation, probably not. That would be more the state and environmental protection agency still. Any new activity that would happen out there though would come under Lyon County control under Title 15. Any proposed change in land use, new land use. Just like any other project.
One question, just clarification for the newbie here, is that the existing Anaconda operations, were they under a special use permit from Lyon County or?
Not that it's been a long, I couldn't tell you that honestly. It's on federal land, so typically we
not required. But if it went to private ownership, then it would fall into that
correct
special use permit requirement, which would give us additional.
Yes.
So I'm open up for the board of which direction you guys want to go. I'm fine with bringing it back with your proposed language. I don't know.
I just need a little bit of direction from the board as to where you want me to take that.
Do you guys want to just? What I'm saying is, do you guys want to put input so you can bring back a draft, or do you just want to bring it back in at the next agenda and give a little bit more thought into it, or take any action at all?
I guess I don't know the discussions you've had with staff regarding how it would affect Lyon County if it does go private. That would be how it affects us would probably be my greatest interest, obviously. I do appreciate the comments here today, though.
So am I right in assuming that you guys want to bring it back and add another agenda item after he's had that discussion and clarify our concerns a little bit? Go ahead.
Chairman Keller, I think there's some very valid points that were brought up that need to be addressed in a letter to BLM about this land transfer. So my concern would be that we have something in front of us the next meeting based on the information that's been put forward here. And then we can tweak on that as far as what we need to think about and what we agree or disagree with. Because there are a lot of environmental issues based on, what BLM does, what private property, what happens there, water, soil, all that other stuff that basically the document just says, no big deal. That's kind of what it says. It really does. No effect, no action taken, nothing happens. And I don't really agree with that on most of their input, so. If you want to try to massage the input from here, that would be great.
Was Chairman Keller, by us either supporting, well, I guess probably by supporting, if we went that route, does that open us up to litigation if something down the road, because we're.
This is just a comment letter on the environmental assessment.
Right. So if things go south or something happens and now all of a sudden, because we've taken a stance as a county in support of it, does that open us up in any?
I'd have to defer to the district attorney on that one.
Steve Rye, District Attorney. I would, if you want to discuss it further, I would recommend continuing it rather than doing a support and then discussing it further. That's the board's determination. I don't know if that answers.
I'm not saying I support it. I'm saying if for some reason the flavor of the board went that direction, now all of a sudden does our support open up for, because we know that there's obviously been some issues with the mine in the past, so.
Yeah, I mean, I think it would open up make it more difficult for you to get additional information. If you were to support it now, as far as liability issues and things like that, I don't think it would change it dramatically.
All right, that's all. I was just curious. Thank you.
So I heard, and you guys can correct me if I'm wrong. Bring it back before us with some piece of paper that's kind of put some of this input before us.
Okay.
And we'll just agendize it at a later meeting.
So this is due by the end of the month, I think, or in the next couple of weeks, so it'll have to be at the next meeting. Gonna have to work on it pretty quick here, because agendas are due today for.
Okay, well. No action from us. Or do you need direction to do that? Okay. Okay. Move on to 15D for possible action, renew appointment of Dr. Robin Titus, MD, as Lyon County Health Officer, and approve a 2-year contract with compensation amount of $1,000 per month plus mileage reimbursement. The same amount paid during the last 2-year period. County Manager.
Andrew Haskin, Lyon County Manager. So this is a renewal of the contract for the public health officer. And agreement's pretty much the same as the last one. Happy to answer any questions.
Did you reach out, see if anybody else was interested?
We did not. We did put it out for bid last time and we did not get any other response.
Any comment from the board? Nope. Any public comment?
Seeing Chairman Keller, I'm making a motion to renew / appoint the appointment of Dr. Robin Titus, MD, as the Lyon County Health Officer, and approve 2-year contract with the compensation in the amount of $1,000 per month plus mileage reimbursement, the same basically as the last 2-year period.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Jacobson, seconded by Commissioner Huckabee. Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those against? Motion passes 5-0. Brings us to the comptroller, 16A for possible action. Accept a grant from the Nevada Administrative Offices of the Courts in the amount of $10,000 to use for the first year of an alternative sentencing software program, and the cost of implementation and staff training to be used in the Friendly Justice Court.
Josh Fuller, Lyon County Comptroller, for the record, I would recommend approval of this item. Anytime we get money to support something we want to already do, I'm in support of that.
Any comment from the board? Any public comment?
Chairman Keller, making a motion to accept a grant from the Nevada Administrative Officers of the Courts in the amount of $10,000 to be used for the first year of an alternative sentencing software program, and the cost of implementation and staff training will be used with the Fernley Justice Court.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Jacobson, second by Commissioner Casanelli. Those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Those against? Motion passes 5-0. Brings to Human Services for possible action, approve the creation of 4 temporary respite program assistant positions at a A2 pool rate to be 1% grant funded through the Department of Health and Human Services. Administration for Community Living Grant with a funding ending August 31st, 2025. Who's presenting this? Anybody?
It looks like Shayla may have stepped off, so.
Josh Fuller, Lyon County Comptroller, I'll draw the short straw. This is a grant that the board already approved, acceptance of. We've already purchased vehicles. They talked about doing independent contractors, but independent contractors shouldn't be using our vehicles, so it's better suited to be temporary staff at Lyon County paid for from the grant funds to use those vehicles.
Any questions for Josh? Commissioner Lookaday.
Yeah, reading through the required knowledge and skills and $18 an hour, I mean, this is phenomenal. Knowledge of codes, laws, regulations, standard office practices, record keeping, correct business English, techniques for communicating with a variety of individuals. It sounds like someone like has to have a master's degree, and we're looking at someone that's, I mean, it amazed me that we'll be able to get anybody to fulfill these level of skill and knowledge with. I hope we can. I'm not, I'm all for this, absolutely, but I just almost fell out of my chair going, holy mackerel. I mean, I probably couldn't do this. So I got a master's degree, so, all right.
Yes, I believe we will. Those are some of the things that we put in almost all of our job requirements. Technically, and if I would have been here when the agenda on this item went out, I wouldn't have even included that in the agenda because that's not the board's discussion, that's an administrative task. But yes, we do, with that language, get temporary employees all the time.
Okay. All right, no, it just says required certificate, Nevada driver's license.
We provide the training on those knowledge, skills, and abilities.
Outstanding then. I'm glad we're giving them the training they need to do the job.
Yep.
That's it.
Any more comment from the board? Any public comment? Not seeing any public comment or anything online. Entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair, I'll move to approve the creation of 4 temporary respite program assistant positions at an A2 pay rate to be 100% grant funded through the Department of Health and Human Services Administration for Community Living Grant Award with the funding period ending August 31st, 2025.
Second.
I have a motion by Commissioner Casanelli, seconded by Commissioner Hockett. All those in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes 5-0. Brings us to utilities, 18-0 for possible action. Authorize the utilities director to issue an intent to serve letter for sewer and water service for the Sage Vista specific plan project PLZX 190081.
Chairman Keller, Commissioners, David McAdam for the record. This request is coming from the property owner. The property is located in Dayton. It is on the very east side of Dayton. It's adjacent to the current water and sewer service area that Dayton Utilities owns and operates. It is on the north and south side of.
Excuse me. Do we have that on the plan? We don't? It was in the packet. I just didn't know if it.
The description of where it is in the packet under the Sage specific plan, if you want to pull that up.
Go to the third one down, say. Second one.
You can actually just zoom in on this page right here, the graphic.
Thank you.
So this stage specific plan was approved back in 2020 by the Board of County Commissioners. And in order for the property owner to move forward with the entitlement process, it's actually a requirement that they do get an intent to serve from the water and sewer entity, the purveyor. In this case, they're not located currently in the water and sewer service area. Just adjacent to the west of that is the Dayton Utilities Water and Sewer Service area. To the right of that is BLM property, and then that would be the Stagecoach water service area. They don't have a wastewater treatment plant, Stagecoach. So this intent to serve is for this property, and what it does is allows them to continue with the entitlement process. It is not an annexation into the property or into the area. In the 2020 plan, they talk quite a bit about specific requirements of what has to happen in order to get annexed in. That would be a process that we have a discussion with the board, but this allows the developer to continue with their entitlement process. Without it, the planning commission can't process their application. So it's not a commitment to come into the water and sewer service area, but what it is, does allow them to move forward with their planning level process.
That was one of the questions, because if it's not within the water service area, are you giving intent?
And that's why we're here having this discussion. Normally I issue these when they're in the area. This is a unique situation where it's not in the area, but it's not in Stagecoach areas either. So it makes sense to have this discussion for an annexation into the future, into the water and sewer service area for Dayton Utilities. So this logically makes sense. We're right next to it. But at this point, since it's not in the area, I can't issue that. And that's why I'm requesting the board authorize me to issue this. So the current intent to serve is we worked at the DA's office. You know, we do have a sewer disposal problem, so there was additional language put into that. And it is something that the developer would need to bring back on an annual basis to the Board of County Commissioners for an ongoing approval process.
So the intent to serve is with the conditions.
Yes.
So that's how you're accomplishing it.
Yes, sir.
Any discussion?
Yes. I understand that the letter that you sent out was corrected. It said January 6, 2024, and it was supposed to be 2025. I understand that was corrected on that letter of intent to Lucas Homes and Development. Also, just to decipher, it was on page 270. I read it many times. It says the 2005 sewer master plan shows there is more potential flow in the existing service area than the sewer plant is capable of expanding to provide treatment for. That just saying that when we have more flow than we think we can have. It goes on to say we could eventually do 2 million gallons per day.
Are you reading from the specific plan that was approved in 2020?
Underlined here, 4.2 sewer facilities.
Yeah, so that has to do, yes, sir, that has to do with the manning, the master planning process. Dayton Utilities does want to update both the water and sewer master plan. That is referencing the I want to say 2005 sewer master plan. That's the last time that it was updated. As part of this process, before annexation would go into place, that master plan would need to be updated so that the engineers can take a look at that and see what by adding this or going through the annexation process, what that would impact. But that was referring to what was done back in 2005 in the analysis done.
Okay. So we have the possibility of up to 2 million gallons then.
Correct. And that's, yes, that was back in 2005. So that will be updated, before any discussions happen with annexation.
Okay, thank you.
Any more discussion from the board? Any discussion from the audience? Online, seeing nothing. Okay, I'll bring it back to the board. Any motion?
The commission authorized utilities director to issue an intent to serve letter for sewer and water service for the Sage Vista Specific Plan Project, PLVX-19-0081.
Second. Motion by Commissioner Montague, seconded by Commissioner Jacobson. Those in favor say aye. 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 Motion passes 5-0. This brings us to number 19, agenda request. Administrative policies and procedures 1.05, the commission member or elected appointed department head may request an item to be considered on a future agenda, either by making an oral request at a county commissioner meeting or submitting a request in writing to the county manager, at least 30 days prior to the meeting for which the item is requested to be placed on the agenda. Do we have any agenda requests?
No.
And from the public? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on to number 19. Number 20, commissioner comments. I'll start from the left side this time. Commissioner Jacobson.
No, I think we have plenty on next month's agenda, so. Our next meeting's agenda.
Commissioner Hendricks.
I just want to welcome Commissioner Castanelli.
Commissioner Casanelli.
No, just thank you and appreciate the professionalism of this board. Looking forward to it, as I said.
Commissioner Hockaday.
Everybody have a happy new year. It's starting again.
Well, welcome on board, Commissioner Casanelli, and I'm looking forward to this year. Brings us to number 21, public participation. No action will be taken on any item until it is properly agendized. Do we have any public comment? Seeing none, do we have a closed session today?
Yes, Mr. Chair, we do.
Okay, we're gonna adjourn to a closed session. So.
Can you please state the time? Sorry.
We're going to closed session pursuant to.
No, that time, I'm sorry.
Adjourning.
We're adjourning at 11:31.
Perfect, thank you.